TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Powertrax is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck.
Hi, everybody. I'm Richard Leake, along with Army Armstrong. We are at the new, beautiful Nashville Motor Raceway in the City of Music. Only tonight, Army, the music being played is going to be the music of the monster truck engine.
The monster trucks will be dancing in the streets of Music City tonight. The drivers are very, very excited about being back on a long, straight course, Richard. We've been running them all over the country on different courses, U-shaped courses, figure-8 courses. Tonight, they can really leg it, really use the horsepower. They're going to go over 2-car jumps. The first jump is a 10-car jump. Then they go to another 10-car jump at the end of the track. So we're looking for ground speeds, you ready for this, in excess of 70 miles an hour with these 20,000-pound monsters.
And, of course, the monsters on hand, the big stars, Bigfoot, USA 1 here tonight, but some other new guys on the scene.
We got a truck coming up from Tampa, Florida, the Alien. Now, this fella's been in the sport a long time, but he's just now starting to go on tour with us. Plus, you have the Carolina Crusher, King Crunch, a lot of the boys from Texas here.
All right, and the fans are starting to fill the stands. We'll be back at the Nashville Motor Raceway to get it all started in just a moment. Nashville, Tennessee, the home of the Nashville Motor Raceway. And Army, one thing's always impressed me about this track of Jimmy Allen and Boyd Adams is the way they always attract great motor racing fans. The City of Music always has been motor racing country. They're on hand tonight to see the competition. USA 1 is about to make his bye run. Fastest qualifier tonight. Other first-round action, Pablo Huffaker just showing off against Gary Wiggins' Mopar Magic. Bigfoot with Rich Hoosier taking on Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. We've got Scott Stevens, King Crunch against Kevin Dabney's Alien Machine. Then it's going to be Jesse Berge out of Wyoming. And playing for keeps against John Moore's No Problem. He's got to be the local favorite, being from Tennessee. Then Stomper and Mike Witt against Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson. And as you said just a few moments ago, we ought to see some fast action tonight.
All the drivers are tickled to death to be back on the track. First round comes up. Keep in mind, USA 1 out of 17 qualifying attempts has had quick time 15 of the 17 times. He's completed his first round. Now we're going to see who is going to advance to go against him as the competition comes to the line for the first elimination round, Richard.
All right, Pablo Huffaker and Gary Wiggins just showing off against Mopar Magic, and it looks like no contest right now.
The Ford jumps out right side of the track, no problem. Hits the second jump, kind of smooths over it, so the speed is going to be there. They're not going to be looking for a lot of air today, but a lot of speed, Richard.
And the Ford of Pablo Huffaker takes it across the line in fine fashion. He'll move on into the competition while Gary Wiggins will probably move back to the pit area, loaded up for another day and another time. They say the original monster truck was the Bigfoot machine. He's the current national points leader on the Renegades TNT circuit, and he is coming to the line next to take on the Carolina Crusher of Gary Porter. And that guy, Gary Porter, has been coming on stronger and stronger with each and every event this year.
Well, Porter will be carrying the colors for the Chevrolet teams, but as you said a moment ago, Bob Chandler originated the monster truck craze with the blue Fords they call Bigfoot. They've been featured in television commercials on national motion pictures. Everybody knows who Bigfoot is, but right now Porter is trying to make a name for himself like the old-time gunfighters. You knock off Bigfoot, you can make a name for yourself, and we're back to racing, Richard.
And it doesn't look like Bigfoot's going to be knocked off this time as he gets a nice hole shot, and he is going to take the win in Nashville over Gary Porter. Another day, another time for Gary. Rich moves on into the competition with that big 460 cubic inch Ford motor.
You know, Richard, all the crew members back in the pit area here are trying to figure out how to get the horsepower to the ground. King Crunch and his crew are thrashing like crazy right now.
Well, that is Scott Stevens. He has had one tough summer. And earlier today, Army spent some time with Scott Stevens about his bad luck summer.
Fighting your way back to the top in any motorsport can get awfully, awfully tough sometimes. Scott Stevens out of Houston, Texas, driver of the King Crunch, he's doing just that. The problem started, about 2 months ago in Colorado when you flipped it end over end. You had everything going for you. Then it seemed to go away. How's it coming back for you, Scott?
Yeah, you know, Colorado really slowed us down probably. It's been 14 weeks, and truck's just now really getting to, I'm getting used to driving it again. The truck took a real hard fall, and it's got a few bends in it that won't come out until we go home, and it's just kind of like getting used to a whole nother truck, and I just got used to driving it when it was straight, and it's got a few bends in it. It's just not going too straight.
Speaking of going home, now being on the national tour like you are, how long has it been since this vehicle has been home?
16 weeks since the semi and the truck's been home. Everything that we've had to either fly to us or You know, and we've tore up everything you can tear up. We blew motors up. We've been through about 10 transmissions. We had to have a new body flown up to us from Creative Glass. You know, just anything. The whole truck's been rebuilt on the road.
Well, that is what you call Army dedication to the sport of monster truck racing. We're going to see if it pays off now as Scott Stevens comes to the line in King Crunch against Kevin Dabney, the Alien Machine, and this is kind of a crowd favorite here tonight. The Alien Machine, the only Nissan on the circuit. The Nissan plant is not 20 miles outside the city of Nashville.
Well, the sheet metal is Nissan, Richard. However, the horsepower is all American. It's Chevrolet, small block Chevrolet. Kind of two theories here. The small block Chevrolet with the Nissan, he'll be working a right lane. Left lane, the fellow we were just talking to, Stevens out of Texas, he believes in those Texas big cubic inch engines. Supercharged 514 cubic inch Chevrolet in the King Crunch. Small block 350 Chevrolet on the Alien, and a whole shot. The Alien jumped him right off the starting line, Richard, but Crunch is trying to pull him back.
Scott bouncing and rolling and going down the track and going off course. Scott Stevens off course. He will be disqualified. The winner and an upset, Kevin Dabney and the Alien Machine, as first round action continues in Nashville in just a moment on ES. Back in the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge continues with first-round competition. We come to the line next is a guy, Jesse Berge. I said earlier he was from Wyoming. He looks like he could be a mountain man of Wyoming, but actually he's from Wyoming, Michigan, and he's taken on a volunteer state hometown boy as John Moore's No Problem machine, which is right out of Tennessee.
Moore, working the left side of the track, would love to put a win under his belt in front of his hometown folks, but I don't believe he's going to do it. Not going to do it. Wind's going to go to the right side, Richard.
I'll tell you what, Army, he may not have crossed the finish line first, but John Moore had a fast time. Don't be surprised to see him come back as a fast loser later in this competition. But the winner at the line has got to be Jesse Berge, playing it for keeps out of Wyoming, Michigan. He moves on into the quarterfinals. And here comes the pride of Chevrolet, Stomper, and Mike Witt. Mike, of course, out of Mount Washington, Kentucky, against my favorite guy on the circuit, the beady red-eyed machine of Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson.
Anderson out of Virginia will be working the inside. Witt out of Kentucky, he'll be working the side closer to the track. Now, two different philosophies here also, Richard. Notice how slow Stomper starts off. The type of clutch he runs, it almost has to wind up like a rubber band. Meanwhile, Anderson nails the throttle and looks like he's done a lot of damage. As smoke starts to roll out the back, he'll advance in the win column.
Smoke not only rolling out as it covers the entire screen there, it starts boiling out of the back of the Gravedigger machine. What could that indicate? Because I know Dennis's motor is in the back of that. Could it be the motor of maybe transmission or something else?
It looked like transmission. We don't know now. I guarantee a lot of people are going to be jumping around trying to help him. You notice, as a matter of fact, the crew member from Bigfoot looks to be the first one over to help out. Everybody wants to help this kid stay in competition.
Well, it does look like it is a transmission problem as you see fluid leaking down. Dennis Anderson checking underneath Gravedigger machine. He needs to get back in competition to gain some points.
I can still make a pass. What's the deal? We need to come back. I mean, the transmission is wasted, period. We can fill it up with fluid, get some kind of a run out of it anyway. But don't stay right here and roll one out there. Right, that's what I'll do.
Now there you hear from the mouth of the monster driver himself, Dennis Anderson. He said he fried the transmission, but he's going to try to come back to get those valuable Renegades points. There you see Rich Hoosier, driver of Bigfoot, taking on a local radio personality, and he's pretty well blowing him away on the track. You know, Rod Litzow is going to be the most powerful machine on the circuit tonight with all that awesome speed. Army's got him now talking about lane choices.
Well, as so many people said when the evening started, USA 1's going to be the truck to beat. Now, Rod Litzow, you're turning some super numbers. You had a bye run in the first round, but we noticed you took what we thought was the bad side of the track. You made your single run out of the left lane. Why'd you do that?
I think the track's pretty even today. Like I was saying yesterday, the track's getting hammered down now and it's smoothing out. They fixed the ramp on the end, and I kind of like it if I can hit that last set of cars and launch and clear them. It's a lot smoother for me to land on the other ramp, and it makes it a little faster time for me.
Okay, now you're going to have to make a decision in competition. If you had to choose right now, what lane would you go out of, right or left?
I'm going to stick with this lane, I think, all night.
So quick time of the night in the left lane. Won the previous event, setting a new track record. Every time he goes out, he seems to set a new track record. But right now, going to the high side, the track, the lane that nobody wants.
Now, Rod Litzow, to show you how fast he has been, Army, has ran an 8-second time down this track that's never been done before by a monster truck.
Well, I'll tell you, the people in Nashville are definitely getting their money's worth on a Renegade tour. You said it earlier, they're racing people. They're seeing a whole new ball game of motorsports, and once again, the USA one comes out smoking, Richard.
Way up and over, Rod Litzow moves on as John Moore's no problem is left sitting in the dust of Nashville. John, out of the state of Tennessee, not faring well against the most powerful machine here tonight, Rod Litzow in the Chevrolet USA 1. So long, John. The fans appreciated it, but you couldn't do it tonight.
Richard, look who's coming to the line now. Still advancing over the national points. Litzow is on a roll. Bigfoot knows it. Bigfoot knows each round you've got to do the same thing the Chevrolet did. He must win. Look who he draws. Rich Hoosier being Bigfoot going against Paul Huffaker. Litzow, Hoosier, and Huffaker in a three-way Donnybrook for these national points. This run can be very decisive towards the end of the year point standing.
Well, I'll tell you, Rich Hoosier may be losing some races recently to USA 1, but he is not going to give up easily. I expect to see him give it his all right now against Pablo Huffaker.
Believe me, Hoosier comes out. It's a good run. Hoosier trying to work the inside. He's not going to roll over for anybody. He advances. That's exactly what he needed to do. So the national points chase, points-wise, stay the same.
Rich Hoosier with the winner in Bigfoot. He is going to come back to face off against the Chevrolet of USA 1. And we're going to be back in the Music City in just a moment with more quarterfinal round competition on ESPN. And the music of Monster Mayhem being played in Nashville, Tennessee tonight. Good evening, everybody. I'm Richard Leake along with Army Armstrong. We have got a full house enjoying some great action as we continue on with quarterfinal round competition. Coming to the line will be Kevin Dabney in the Alien Machine, taking on the mountain-looking man himself, Jesse Berge out of Wyoming, Michigan. Jesse, of course, driving the Playing for Keeps machine. And, Army, one thing that really stands out as we look at these two vehicles is the tremendous height of the tires on the Alien Machine as opposed to Jesse Berge's.
The Alien's kind of unique. A lot of engineering differences in this vehicle. Yes, the tires are taller. They're 72 inches tall. The other tires in the other vehicle are only 66-inch tall tires. Small block Chevrolet in the Alien vehicle, the driver says the smaller cubic inch to taller tire combination works good for him. Now remember, this young man has not followed the tour with us, but he's been very, very competitive in this sport. He's been around a lot of time. He builds these trucks for people. He says the small block, tall tire combination is the way to go, and it looks like he's not only talking the talk, Richard, he's walking the walk. Look at the Alien make a shot down that left side. He's going to advance to the next round.
But not without a real battle from Jesse Berge Playing for Keeps. I'll tell you what, Kevin Dabney had to earn every inch of that win. The Alien Machine moves to the semi-final round of competition to face either the Chevrolet Stomper of Mike Witt or Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger. The question being now, Army, they have been working on in the pit area. Gravedigger, as you know, you heard Dennis Anderson say he pretty well fried his transmission. He is going to try to get it to the starting line to get these valuable Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge points.
Well, Mike Witt works the Stomper up to the starting line. He will not pull into the staging lane. He's looking over his right shoulder to see if Anderson can get the Gravedigger squared away. He wants to give him the benefit of all doubt. I don't believe he's going to make it. Some of the crew members are watching him. Anderson's thrashing around the vehicle. No, I don't believe he's going to make it, Richard.
And I'll tell you, that's going to be a real shame because these two guys paired off in first-round competition. Dennis Anderson beat Mike Witt in the first round, blew him away, really. It was going to be an opportunity for revenge for Mike Witt. Now, Stomper has to make a bye run. I guess good news for Mike Witt. He gets to try something, but he does not get to take out his revenge.
Richard, we told you a little bit earlier about the type of transmission Mike Witt runs. It's a dragster-style transmission. The harder it goes, kind of like winding up a rubber band, the harder it goes, the more power it'll lay to the ground. What he did, he left the starting line within a neutral position, pulled it into a low gear, and it's not working for him. Richard, you notice the flames coming out of the exhaust stack. Witt is really RPMing the engine. It's a buy run. It's good that it is a buy run. The ground speed is not there. He may have actually hurt this vehicle on the run.
Well, I'll tell you, it looked and sounded like he was binding that powerful engine of the Chevrolet on the Stomper machine, but good news is Mike Witt moves to the semifinal round of action to take on the Alien. So a tough luck night for Dennis Anderson, good for Mike Witt.
Dennis Anderson, what exactly happened to you tonight?
Busted a bell housing on my automatic transmission. I think I've got an engine mount problem. I launched across the first set of cars, and I noticed my torque converter was messing up to start off with, but I finished that round, and it looked like I was going to burst into flames there for a few minutes, but I came back and we saw the bell housing was busted on the transmission.
On your run a moment ago, when the Gravedigger couldn't make the call, did you do a bonsai shot? All of a sudden, you came out like a rocket. How did you leave the line that quick?
Army, I really had it in low gear, and with the Crowder clutch in it, you can't really shift unless the RPMs come all the way down on the motor. So I took off in first, shifted to second, and then I went back on to third at the very end of the track just to see what it would feel like, and if we could shift it very quick, something we might have to try someday.
Well, Stomper, keeping the hope of the Chevrolet fans alive. We're down to the final four. We're going to find out what all the action's about in just a moment.
And here's what we're going to find out about right now, Army. The ultimate matchup, Chevrolet against Ford. USA won second in the national points race, going up against Bigfoot, the national points leader. And here is something that is a shocker to me. As they are coming to the line, it looks like Rod Litzow is going to be on the right side of the track. Now, he said earlier the left side was the best lane. What's going on here?
I tell you, it has you confused. Think what it has Rich Hoosier thinking right now. He thinks that Litzow's got something up his sleeve, and he just may have it. The Ford doesn't have a choice. He must go to the opposite lane, and Litzow sits on the inside with a big grin on his face, Richard, going to a whole new part of the track, working it right. He said he would not be there. That's not the case.
I don't know what the strategy is, Rod Litzow. It could backfire on him as they're off and rolling.
No, Litzow comes out like a rocket. Look at the chassis starts to unload. He lines it up. Final jump. Richard, the national championship point chase just tightened up a ton.
Rod Litzow, the winner with that powerful motor. Maybe Rich Hoosier's going to have to reevaluate putting a bigger engine in that Bigfoot Ford, as we'll be back with more semifinal round competition in a moment. If it's too cool for you outdoors in November, warm up indoors as the heartbeat of America. Today, Chevy Trucks and TNT Motorsports bring you the hottest in truck and tractor pulling and monster truck racing. See the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge Friday and Saturday, November 11th and 12th at Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery, Alabama, and on Saturday, November 19th at the new Charlotte Coliseum, Charlotte, North Carolina. The stars of monster truck racing will do battle on Saturday, November 19th in the spacious Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, Indiana. But while the big trucks are racing at Indy, you'll also see the top modified tractors and two-wheel drive trucks from the Red Band TNT All-American Pulling Series. Look for superstars such as David Banner, Pat Friels, Mike Stowe, Wayne Roush, and Ken Lamont. Look for the heartbeat of America. Today, Chevy Trucks and TNT Motorsports to bring a truck and tractor pull or a monster truck race to your hometown. Back in Nashville just a few moments ago, you saw the USA 1 Chevrolet of Rod Litzow knock off Bigfoot and Rich Hoosier. And the surprise to us was the lane choice that Rod Litzow had. He had been telling us the left lane was the best lane, but he came out and fired up in the right lane. Why?
Rod Litzow going into the final, Rod. How's that make you feel?
Great. It was a little squirrely on that last run, but we had enough speed to pull it out in the end there, and it made it.
Okay, now I made an observation a minute ago. We were talking earlier in the evening. You said you were going to run that left lane all night long. When everybody laid the cards on the table, Bigfoot went up that left lane. You went to the right lane. Why did you make the lane choice?
Sometimes it psychs the drivers up a little bit, throws them off. That's the biggest reason I like doing it.
USA 1's going to be in the final. The question is, who will be going against, the Alien or the Stomper Chevrolet?
So Rod Litzow, not only with a powerful motor, but he's playing powerful mind games tonight, isn't he, Army?
You know, mind games are a part of it. It's motorsporting. I know he had Hoosier thinking, because Hoosier was not planning on being in that lane. Speaking of thinking, we told you about this young man. Hasn't been on the tour that much, but definitely has impressed a lot of people this weekend in Nashville.
That, of course, Kevin Dabney. As you said, he's got the Nissan sheet metal, but a Chevrolet small block engine. And we spent some time with this machine earlier today, Army.
You know, Kevin's truck is very, very interesting. He has a whole different philosophy. For an example, the tires he runs, they're designed to actually claw, to dig into the dirt. They actually go over the top of the crunch cars a lot easier. Located behind the driver, the engine. The engine is a small block Chevrolet, not a 400 cubic inch or a 500 cubic inch engine, a supercharged 350 cubic inch engine. A force from another planet? You might know it's going to be coming out of the Sunshine State of Florida, the name of the Alien.
And that is Kevin Dabney sitting at the line now, and back behind him in the distance, you see Mike Witt and Stomper, and they have got some problems getting the Stomper machine started.
Yeah, Richard, right now, down trackside, they're trying to turn the engine over by hand. They're having starter problems. They've already changed the starter. Gail Medford, a backup driver on the truck, is working feverishly on the bottom of the truck. Mike Witt sits patiently in the driver's seat. I don't know exactly what the problem is.
They are trying feverishly to get that Stomper Chevrolet started. Mike wanting to gain these valuable Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge points.
If you remember a moment ago, Mike waited patiently on the starting line for the Gravedigger who was having problems. Now the tables are turned. Witt waits patiently. He's suited up. The Alien driver, now it's his turn to wait. It's not going to have to wait any longer, Richard. The Alien going to go a single shot, so the final will be set at the completion of this run.
All right, so Kevin Dabney has come all the way from the state of Florida to make it to the finals, but he must make a bye run here in the semifinals, and he is going to take things nice and easy down the fast track of the Nashville Motor Raceway, kind of, I guess, protecting the engine and the vehicle for the final matchup against USA 1.
You know, you don't blame him a bit. What I'm interested in right now is what lane will Litzow pick in the final. He does have lane choice. Let's see if he bounces back to that left side.
Well, of course, he used that psych job going up against Rich Hoosier. Maybe that's where he only wanted to use it, was against Rich Hoosier, because Rich with the national points lead. Rod is chasing him feverishly, and maybe he'll just come out and play it straight up against Kevin Dabney here.
Okay, the lanes are set. Dabney is pushed to the inside of the track. Litzow, USA 1. What does he do? Comes right back to his old stomping grounds. He's coming back to the left side. See what's going to happen. A national point chase is really tightening up. The left lane is trying to win a championship, and look at that. He comes out a little bit out of shape. Sparks come off the inside, but USA 1 marches to another win, Richard.
Sparks came flying out of Kevin Dabney's Alien machine, and Rod Litzow, in record-breaking fashion, has won the title in Nashville. Don't know what happened to Kevin's machine, but Sparks came flying out of it after he came over that first set of jump cars. Rod Litzow moves ever so closer to the national title of the Renegade circuit. Army's got your winner trackside right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of getting to be a familiar story. The USA 1 Chevrolet wins again. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Army.
I'm going to ask you one more time. You ran Bigfoot, you ran the right lane. Everybody else, you ran out of the left lane. Why'd we do that?
I like this left lane. I just did that for just psyching them up.
It seemed to work for you real well tonight. Now, you're how far back on these national points? You've got to be closing in awfully tight right now.
Yeah, I should be within about 15 points, I think.
Do you think you can pull an upset off? Now, Hoosier's already said that he's going to take the Ford back to Missouri and get a big engine in it to try to stay in front of you. Do you think that'll bump him back out in front, or do you think you're going to be able to handle him?
It's going to be a good racing yet. You know, I don't know how much it'll do a difference with the motor and that. You know, he's a good racer, but we're just going to go for it. We're holding good times. We're breaking records. That's what it's going to take.
Well, we found out Alien broke a transfer case in the finals. Rod Litzow, USA 1 raising their head in victory. Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot scratching their head in bewilderment. It was a great night in Nashville. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leake. We'll see you on the tracks across America.
Join us next time for Powertrax, the most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.